Hello guys, welcome to my channel on Introduction to Object-Oriented Programming with C Sharp, more or less like C Sharp programming. I'm so excited to get started with this series, and I always believe that everybody can program, okay? You don't have to be a rocket scientist to be able to program. So let's get started. What is object-oriented programming, you ask? This is an introduction to that. So object-oriented programming is a programming language that allows you to think or think in a manner of building objects. So what is an object? An object is everything that has properties, that has features. Like, let's put it that way. Everything that has properties or have features. Features and properties are kind of the same, but in programming language we refer to features as properties. Okay, so anything that has features. Your phone has features, a human being has features, a tree has features, a car has features. Anything that has features is an object. So what does, now if I ask you now what is object-oriented programming, you could see that it is just a programming language of objects. Right, it's just programming objects, like trying to program any object. Okay, so what is the object now, and what is how can we know in programming language the object? How do we translate that into programming language, these objects? Well, these objects in programming language, object-oriented programming, you will come across these three things here a lot: properties, methods, and class. Okay, object-oriented programming language will have all these three, at least the basic fundamental core language, core feature, core things that we hear, you will get to hear about in object-oriented programming language as these three things. So earlier on I said objects is like a human being or a phone or anything that has features. So let's use human being as an example, like for a case study for this, right? So a human being has features, right? Your features could be your height, your color, your weight, and all of those things is your feature as a human being, right? Human, or as a human, right? So in programming language, features will be properties. In C# programming language, let's be specific, will be represent properties. So each time I create a property, those I'm referring that to a feature of a human being, like the features of a human being. One property is one feature of a human being, so it's one-to-one. So if I say I'm adding a property, one new property, I'm adding a property of a height of the human being. So I'm going to create a new property, I'm going to say height. This is the height of the human being, right? Then I'm going to add another property, it's going to be the color of the human being, right? Complexion or color or stuff like that, right? Or the weight. The methods are calculations. These are the stuff that are responsible to calculate, to do the functions, to do all the program, all the lines of program you see. These are put into methods and functions. The functionalities, they are the ones that allow you to actually say a plus b is equals to 2, or equals to 3, or equals to 4, or if this is that, then do this. This is happening inside a method. Okay, and a class is the main guy, right? So a class is like a blueprint. You have, when you're building a building, you have a blueprint of that building before you can start building, right? Or you have a plan, a building plan. Let's forget about using so many words that are confusing. Forget about blueprints. You have a building plan, right? A class is a building plan. So when we're talking about an object, a human being, the class, and then you're going to give it a class name, human, is the building plan of the human object in this case. Let's go back again, I don't want to confuse you. So a class is the building plan, the structure of the human being in the programming language. Does that make sense? I'm trying to build an object of a human being in this program right now. A class will be that plan to build the human being. So you will see that a class is unofficially is just equivalent to an object, right? I said an object is anything that has a feature, that has features. Your phone is an object, a human being is an object, a car is an object. In this case, we are going to be using human as for example, as an object. So a class unofficially is just like an object, right? Unofficially, I'm sure you why I said unofficially. There's a way, there's when you create a new instance of a class, that's when it's an object. But unofficially, let's say a class is an object. Okay, does that make sense right now? Okay, so that means a class, look at this line here, that means a class will contain, a class contains properties and methods inside of them. A class can contain, it's not always, doesn't always contain, but a class can contain properties and methods, right? Does that make sense? All right, so with that being said, I would go ahead and add one class. That means one class means I'm going to go ahead and add the human, we said human being class, right? Human, a person. No, let's change this to person. All this while I'll be using human. Let's say person, a person class. Person is better. So you are a person, right? So let's change that. So I'm going to add a person class. I'm going to add a class. Well, this is just an intro, okay? I will teach you how to start the project and all of that. I'm just trying to teach you what is the basics of object-oriented programming. So this is a person and this is a class. I'm adding a class. For now, don't worry about how I'm adding a class. I'll teach you all of that in the next video. So I'm having this class right here. Again, don't worry about all this public thing I'm typing. All you need to worry about is public. All you need to worry about is what is going on here. So I just created a class. Remember, from here we have a class as a blueprint of the object. So a class now in this object that we've created of a person now is here. In here, what will a person have? A person will have, like I said, let's say their height, the height of the person. A person will also have, I'm going to copy that, the weight of the person. Okay, I mean, you know a whole lot of things that you could say a person has. I mean, a person will have a lot of things. So many things like their eye color, their hair color. Let's say string here. Hair color. Okay, so a person can have all of these things. So this is the class and this is the properties. These are the features. These are more like the features, and it's the properties. These are called properties in programming. These are called properties in programming, or in the ordinary world, these are features. Okay, so this is the person. The object is the person. The features are all these things. The height. So one object can have multiple features. One object can have multiple properties. Just like your phone can have multiple features, right? So that's that. So now that we have this now. So what's the use of this now? Now, this is not yet an object though. This is just a class. It's a blueprint, like I told you. It describes the object. But now, let's go and know exactly what an object is now, right? So to make an object, you have to make a duplicate of that class. Duplicate of that class means making instance. In programming language, making instance of that class. And the keyword to making an object is new. This is a keyword. You see it's blue. Anything in blue is keyword. So if we do person to make an object of a person, and the instance is going to be that person 1 equals to new person. Right, and I just need to bring the namespace. Don't worry about this. What is happening here, I'll tell you. Okay, so we're going to continue with this in the next part 2 of this. I'm going to continue, all right, with this. Okay, part 2 because I only have like 10 minutes to record. So